Most people have heard the word fiber, but have no idea what it is. Tonight, we make it simple. Welcome back to Behind the Network. My name is Anthony Miller, owner-operator of TREPIC Networks.
My name is Alec Miller. I'm the operations manager here at TREPIC Networks. And today we have episode 7. Got a big dump on fiber, what fiber is, how we install it. A lot of people aren't super educated on what fiber is, and we're just here to provide a little bit of context behind that.
Yep, show people what it's all about and give them some info.
Yep. All right. So starting off, fiber is literal glass. You hear a lot of people talk about fiber as glass, but it is, and I've got a piece here that we can see. This is a single strand of fiber. This is actually what provides you internet. All of your internet travels through this single piece of glass. And we can have Eldred kind of zoom in. I got a couple of different examples to show. So this is a single strand of fiber. We've got this here that carries up to 288 of these. And each one of these individually, you can see, are on there. Now, so this is the big stuff that goes around the neighborhood that does backhaul for big companies. And now we've got this that goes down the alleyways, which amazingly, all of these fibers fit in there. This holds up to 144 of those, which is just amazing that it can fit in there. And then last, we go down to what goes up to your house. This is, it's got 2 strength members inside of here, a wire on the outside so we can find it underneath the ground when we bury it up to your house. It's got 2 fibers inside of here. We use this as the last leg because it's incredibly durable. The fibers are incredibly protected from someone sticking a shovel through it or a dog chewing on it or anything like that. It's incredibly durable. So we use this going up to your house. Okay, so now let's just go into compare. We did some examples there. Compare the different providers and what it is to fiber and why fiber's definitely the most superior option.
Fiber just has the ability to transfer a lot of data down a single pipe.
Yes.
Where copper has its limitations, on Cat5, the limitation of Cat5 is 1 gig.
Yep.
Over 330 feet is what the limitation is.
330 feet. That's a maximum that's not implied on fiber.
That's
there
not
are maximum lengths in fiber, but it is not 330 feet.
Yeah, really the limitations on fiber begin in like the electronics. So you always have to buy bigger, more expensive, higher powered electronics. Yes. The physical glass itself has endless possibilities of what it can do.
Right. And there is limitations on loss as far as over the span, but we're talking about like miles.
Yes.
That you would experience loss, that there would be connection issues, for example.
Yep. And so like we're doing a project that we're working on right now where we actually have to regen because it goes so far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like 70 miles of fiber and it can't make it that far. So we have to do regen in between.
Right. I think is it 50 miles? Depending on the optic.
Yeah, depending on the optics and the bandwidth you're trying to do. If you're trying to do 100 gig, because fiber also has that huge bandwidth capability. So you can do 100 gig, 10 gig, 1 gig. You can do multiple different sizes of fiber or sizes of bandwidth over the fiber, but you have to do regen at certain points.
Yep.
And so like if you do a long haul fiber, there has to be regen points in between there. It can't carry the whole distance.
Yep.
That's why you see, you'll be driving down the side of a highway or whatever, you'll see a cabinet randomly with power to it, and you're like, what's that? Well, it's probably a fiber cabinet. If you're in the middle of nowhere, fiber's coming up into that, they're regenning it and then keeping going on that.
And just to kind of touch on the differences between fiber and typical other providers that come from underground, like DSL or cable, both of those are copper. Both of those have big limitations on the speed that they can provide and also the interference, so they can't go as long a distances. It's usually the last leg, similar to what I talked about here, this being our last leg, but our last leg matches all the way back to our central office.
Yeah, most commonly, even the typical standard is what people would do is you would bring fiber to what's called the D-slam, and then from there would be copper to the houses.
Right.
In 2026, the most common thing is fiber to the home.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the most common thing, but it's definitely the route that we chose to go.
Yes.
Because we didn't want to have to switch equipment, switch materials, and we wanted the most reliable thing going all the way up to the house.
Right.
So all of our fiber, all the way up to the outside of your house, is real fiber that we connect people to. And then on the very, very last leg inside the home, we use Cat 5.
Yeah, just to switch over to the router, but those even have 10 gig ports on.
Yes, they have 10 gig ports.
And so they have 10 gig ports that can service, up to 10 gig over fiber.
Right.
And the limitation really is just the fiber power modules. Mm-hmm. Once they come up with better, like right now we're on XGS PON, which is 10 gig. Once they come out with the next PON, it could be 100 gig, what I mean? Whatever they develop.
Well, and you also, you have to have an interface too. Like you can't plug a fiber cable into a laptop.
No.
You can't plug a fiber cable into a router. They have some, but they're just not.
No.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, most of the time they're not putting fiber interfaces on laptops or anything, even devices.
We do have a router that we've used in the park that we'll talk about a little bit later, where we actually plug the fiber cable into the back of the router.
Yeah, it comes with a built-in GPON port is what it has on it, which is the 1 gig. So for our 1 gig customers, they can go directly into the router, and then there's no copper in those instances.
Yes.
The only copper is to your devices past that.
Right.
And so it's fiber all the way to the router.
Yeah.
But typically, like even on our 10 gig stuff, we have to go to the XGS module, which accepts the fiber and converts it into 10 gig copper, but you're only talking 5 feet.
You're right.
And so
into the router.
Into the router. So you're talking 5 feet. So Cat 6, you can do 10 gig over 5 feet very easily.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the distance limitations. The 330 feet for a gig on Cat 5e is the limitation that's been around forever. Now they do have Cat 6 and Cat 6a and higher copper things, but even when you go over to coax, there's still limitations.
Yes.
Even I think they're on DOCSIS 3.1 or 3.2 is what the new modems are. That limitation, is a gig. And so that's really the limitation why, other providers are selling 950 meg or whatever down because they're a limitation.
But I also think, you can correct me here if I'm wrong, but I don't think they can do symmetrical speeds.
No, there's no symmetrical. That's the nice thing about fiber. And, that's why we're talking about fiber today is it's symmetrical because it doesn't care either way.
Yeah.
Well, so when I say 10 gig on an XGS module, it's 10 gig down and 10 gig up.
Yeah.
It doesn't care. The lights travel the same because on fiber, you have a transmit and a receive in there on 2 different frequencies.
Yeah.
And so it can transmit on, 1370 or whatever the frequency it's transmitting on and can receive on another frequency. So it has... Right now, like I said, it's 10 gig is the limitation of the copper or the fiber modules at each end.
Yeah.
So,
and let's see, the whole angle of using fiber, and we'll touch some more on this, but it's the future proof of it.
Yes.
Is that the same fiber strand that I'm holding here, that's been used for the last 20, 30 years, that used to have electronics that could only deliver 50 meg, can now deliver 10 gig to the home.
Yes.
And who knows, in the next 20, 30 years, maybe we're delivering 15 gig to homes, 20 gig, 30 gig, 50 gig, 100 gig. Who knows?
Yeah.
The limitations on this stuff is there's just not.
You're right. Well, and they can do 100 gig now. They just can't do it to like multiple clients. The PON is not at 100 gig.
Yes.
But you can literally take a piece of fiber and you can do 100 gig to the
our
house.
Data center connections now are 100 gig at our data center.
And that regen project we're talking about, we can do 100 gig across that.
It's just not feasible to do per home.
Yeah.
And nobody needs it.
Yeah, and nobody really needs it because you're running into the limitation of laptops and other devices. And
yes.
You have server limitations. Like there's a lot of things.
For big commercial projects, they'll get 100 gig delivered.
Yes, that's becoming more common.
500 employees, or something like that. They might need that big of a tunnel to the internet.
Yes, they could have that if they have multiple, or not even a lot of employees, but they could have like a multi-campus scenario where they have multiple buildings that they're trying to connect. So they get a 100 gig pipe into the main building and then they feed it out to all their other buildings.
Right. Yeah.
So they'll do like 10 gig to like 5 buildings, and then they bring a 100 gig pipe in.
Yep.
And so that's common as well too.
But, just to kind of land on a point is that cable was built for the last century's needs. It was built for what they needed and honestly what was available. And fiber was built for the future. And that's where we're going, and that's why we're adding it when we can, where we can. Working on fiber projects.
Yep, we're trying to put fiber in the ground actively in 2026. We were doing it in 2025. We put fiber in the ground, and we're working on other projects as well to put fiber in the ground because it's the future. It's where everything's going. In the not to talk about the latency as well.
Yeah, we probably
got something down the road. But that's another benefit of fiber. So,
and that's what we're going to go into is why everybody wants fiber, the consumer side of things, why they want it. Number one is what we kind of already talked about is the symmetrical speeds. 1 gig up, 1 gig down, whereas a cable provider might give you 1 gig down and 100 meg up.
That's a standard. Like I said, on DOCSIS 3.1 is 1 gig. It's the maximum capacity of what they can do.
And they focus on the down. They provide you more down than up.
It goes back to we had that conversation a couple episodes or whatever where we're talking, and I'm trying to talk to you, and a bunch of people are trying to talk to you, and the lanes, I guess you could call it.
Right.
In fiber, it just doesn't exist. You know what I mean? It does exist, but the throughput is so much greater that it doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, number two is reliability. There's fewer outages than cable or wireless. There's no signal degradation when neighbors get online. That's kind of talking about all the radios on the roof pointed. I mean, the technology has gotten pretty good in our wireless equipment, at least the equipment we use.
The newer wireless equipment has less of those limitations. But yes, the old wireless equipment has those limitations. The new wireless equipment is honestly working a lot like fiber. I mean, we've got a lot of technology out there to where we can do 400 meg plans on wireless, and that's because the limitations of that. Back to upgrading that. We don't want to get into wireless, but it's pretty powerful stuff, and it acts just like fiber.
Yes, but and to kind of keep on that is also the underground, like the fiber lines are underground.
Yes,
they're not as exposed to Arizona heat or Arizona monsoons and stuff like that. I mean, when power gets hit, everything goes out, but they're definitely less immune to the conditions being underground.
They are less immune, and fiber being underground is less immune to the elements for sure.
Well, and we do have aerial lines, but the aerial lines we've got are on big power poles, not on little skimpy poles.
Well, when you think about like the wireless, like we still do wireless and stuff, but there's less points of failure in fiber. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to put down our wireless stuff because our wireless stuff is really good and we try to eliminate all that.
Yes.
But there's just less points. When you have a fiber line, you literally have the module inside the house that's powered, and then you have the module at the other end, which is in a cabinet. You have two things that could possibly go out that could do that. When you have wireless, you have the dish on the roof that's mounted that's outside in the heat, right? You have the AP that you're fed off of. You have the cabinet that it's on. So there's not a lot more points of failure, but there's more points of failure. And anytime you reduce points of failure, you increase reliability.
Yep. The other thing is lower latency, what Anthony kind of talked about. Cable is typically 20 to 40 milliseconds, and fiber, I mean, most of the tests we see are 5 to 10 milliseconds. On fiber, I mean, it snaps.
Yes, 4 milliseconds, and that's really going to affect those gamers and things like that. The gamers, the Zoom call people, the people who are working from home, the fiber is really good for them. And honestly, like, it's funny that you say the wireless is good too. Our wireless is good on our high density stuff that can do really high speeds. The latency is also low on that.
Right.
The stuff that we're putting out in 2026 and we've been putting out in 2025, the new stuff that we are deploying actively in the wireless communities is really low latency too.
Yes.
But going against like a different provider that's not using the most up-to-date stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like fiber will beat it, our new age wireless will beat it. It's all really good stuff.
The other thing is the future proof for the next decade. The fiber that goes up to your house is going to be good and provide competitive and better offers for the foreseeable future.
Well, right now we're doing 5 gig plans, and you don't know. I mean, they XGS PON is the cutting edge technology of fiber, and so we can do those 5 gig plans. They might come out with the next technology here soon, and then you can do 100 gig plans or 80 gig plans.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The focus on developing new stuff because fiber has the capabilities to handle it. The dedication to getting faster speeds is in the fiber world.
And it's not that we're not completely tapped out on the copper side of things, but we're pretty much there. I mean, they are doing some new stuff with Cat 5, Cat 6e, you know.
Yeah, they could also come out with a new DOCSIS that could do faster plans.
But that's not really where the industry is at.
No, in a new industry like fiber becomes so prevalent, whatnot, all the R&D dollars go into that.
Right.
So the chances of them coming out with 80 gig fiber before they come out with DOCSIS 5.0 or whatever it is more likely they're going to come out with that.
Next thing is why consumers care. A big part, I think, is home value.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like you get fiber installed and we put $10,000 into your home, but homes with fiber do sell an average of 3 to 4% more than identical homes with cable, or where markets or in markets where fiber is available. And the big thing is just the demand for needing a reliable, powerful connection at your home.
Yes, we get it all the time. We get real estate agents. Everybody's calling us saying, "Hey, I know you provide areas in the service. What do you have? Do you have fiber? Do you have wireless?
Yeah, we work with local real estate or real estate developers about bringing fiber to their neighborhoods as option one.
Yes,
and then can you bring wireless? Can you bring something else?
Yeah, they all prefer fiber though. They're all like, how do we get fiber to this neighborhood?
Because it's going to help their home sell.
Yes,
is that if they can say fiber available on their brochures where they're trying to sell spec houses,
yes,
it helps them sell because they're selling houses in places where that's a concern.
Yes, they're trying to get those houses sold, and internet sells houses. I mean, we've gotten calls before that the guy calls us and says, "I'm not buying this house unless you service internet to it."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we tell him, "Yeah, we can service it," or "No, we can't." And then he decides to do that. But it's just such a need in today's world that they want a good, high quality connection, and fiber can bring that. So if we can bring fiber to that home, it'll help sell it.
Yep. And it's not for everybody. I mean, when I went to buy my house, I wasn't necessarily checking what the internet provider is, but I was in a unique situation where I had to buy a house in 3 days. But most people, when they're buying houses and they're looking for homes, it's something they consider, especially if they work from home.
Yeah.
Or they have a big family.
I would say it's happening more and more. The thought process on what internet connection can I get and where am I going to buy my home matters.
Right.
Especially in 2026, after COVID, a lot of people work from home, and so they just want the good internet connection.
Yeah.
They're not going to accept, it used to be like DSL is unacceptable. If DSL is the only thing to the home, people are not interested in purchasing a home where DSL is only available.
Yes.
So, and we still get people that don't think about that, buy a home out in the middle of nowhere and they're like, you can't service it. What am I supposed to do?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they have limited options out in the middle of nowhere. So it's like, if you don't buy a home where there's a fiber connection or an area where TREPIC services
a good
wireless provider in the area, you don't have a lot of options.
Yep. Our next segment is what gigabit speeds can actually do and when you don't need them.
Yeah.
Let's see. So what a 1 gigabit fiber connection delivers in practice. Okay, we got a couple of points here. You can download a 4K movie in 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah.
You can download a 50 gigabyte video game in 7 to 10 minutes. Upload a 2-hour 4K video to YouTube in under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Run 8 simultaneous, I don't know who's doing this, but you could run 8 different 4K Netflix streams in different rooms with 0 buffering.
Oh, yeah. Those big families where they got a TV in every...
People.
Well, you got to think, if they're a big family, they got a TV in every bedroom and they decide to buy 4K TVs for all their kids and their wife and everything.
Right.
I mean, there's a chance that it could get to that. Eight's a lot, but I would say...
you have to pay for the upgraded Netflix account to allow you to have that many users.
Or get 2 Netflix accounts.
Or get 2 Netflix accounts.
Yeah, but I would say it's not unreasonable to think 4 or 5 is definitely a real-world scenario.
One, if you're streaming them all in 4K and you're on a 200 meg connection, someone's going to be buffering. Someone's going to be yelling at Jimmy to turn off the TV down the hallway so I can watch my show.
Yeah, or what'll happen, and you'll see this when your connection's not good enough, is it'll downgrade the quality. So you'll claim you're doing it in 4K, and Netflix has gotten smart enough because they don't want you to cancel your Netflix subscription that they'll step down.
Yeah.
So if you've ever been watching a Netflix video or even a YouTube video, and all of a sudden it gets kind of grainy and it steps down, that's because it's not getting enough internet connection, and so it's downstepping the quality. 50, so that it doesn't stop the stream. They don't want you to pause the stream because then you'll yell at Netflix for doing it.
Right.
And so their technology is getting good enough to where they're downstepping that. So, but yeah, like downloading a game is awesome. I mean, you get the new game out and you download it in 7 to 10 minutes.
Well, nowadays, I mean, it says 50 gigabyte game on our notes here, but realistically, like I downloaded the game like 2 weeks ago and it was 150 gig. And I have a 300 meg connection and I think it took me 2 hours to download it because, you know, the other thing is on a 300 meg connection, like my wife's at home watching TV, I don't get 300 meg to my machine.
No.
That's downloading the game.
No, you don't get the full bandwidth of
Maybe
that.
I was downloading it like 150 or 200 with Wi-Fi and everything.
And those used to take, I remember back in the day when we would download, you'd like start it the night before.
Oh, yeah.
And you were hoping it was done by the next morning. You know, you'd start your download of the game and you'd hit it when you went to bed.
Well, and now they're doing like the new Madden came out, the new college football came out. You can actually pre-buy the game and you can download it ahead of the game launching.
Oh, that's
You can download it ahead of time, and then when the game actually comes live, you can log in and play.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what they should do because then it doesn't bog down servers. It doesn't cause a bunch of problems.
It's super annoying. You spend $70 and you got to wait 2 hours to play it. It's super annoying.
You spend that money and you're like, I just want to play the game, and then
it's time for bed, and then you got to get up for work the next day.
And then for whatever reason, you know, if your internet connection has an interruption during that time and it pauses or even cancels it possibly, I don't know if that's ever happened, but you know, you don't want any interruptions in downloading your game.
But kind of a realistic situation is, you know, mom's sitting on a Zoom call working from home. Dad's on a Teams call working from home. 2 kids are home for summer break and they're watching a Netflix show in the living room. Another kid sitting there gaming. You've got outdoor cameras streaming all the time, 24/7. You got all your smart devices connected to the internet, eating up those little bits. And, you know, on certain speed plans, those are suffering. And our minimum plan on fiber is a gig.
Yes.
For an incredibly affordable price.
Yep. Yeah.
And that would fully suffice that household.
Oh, yeah.
And they wouldn't have any problem.
Yeah. We did a minimum of a gig. We started out and we tried to do like 500 meg or whatever, but then we're like, why not just give them a gig?
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's not much difference. It's the same technology.
Yep.
And it has the capability of doing it. So we upgraded everybody to a gig. And so you can get a gig on fiber with us and you just keep going. You just get the more devices out. You know, I remember I hooked up a customer one time and I went into their house and they're like, hey, kids, bring out your devices.
Yeah.
And each kid brought out their laptop, their tablet, and they're like, can you help me hook up my TV in my room too?
Yeah.
And so they each had like 7 different devices or whatever to connect to the internet. Those are the people that need even the faster plans, our 5 gig plan.
Yep.
Those really help out because it's all about the number of devices.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If you have a lot of devices, that's how we sell internet is based on the number of devices.
Yep.
How many people are doing it? If it's 1 or 2, you probably can get our basic plan. If you got 5 people at your house and they all have different devices, you should go with a faster speed plan.
And there's some people who probably aren't going to see the benefits of having gigabit service.
No.
You know, like my household with, you know, I would see it downloading video games, but it's really just me and my wife.
Right.
Like we wouldn't really see because the most that can be going on is 2 or 3 devices.
Which is why you only have 300 meg at your house. I mean, on top of you don't have fiber available at your house.
Yes, I don't have fiber.
You don't have fiber available, but you chose a 300 meg plan because you know that yes, it's going to be a pinch when you want to download your Madden game, but you're willing to take that, you know, that at that time.
But yeah, people like, you know, 2-person household, don't have kids, you know, you just watch TV, standard stuff. You don't work from home or anything like that.
Yes.
It might not be necessary, but it doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy having it because you're never going to buffer. Yeah, everything's going to download super quick. It's all going to work super fast. And, you know, with our plan is incredibly well priced.
Yeah.
For our base plan.
Yeah.
So, you know, then goes into the groups that are actually going to benefit is households with 4+ people. Anyone who works from home needs reliable up and down. Gamers.
Well, and the work from home also, the latency is what's a big deal. And on fiber, like we said, it's sub 5 milliseconds, I would say, pretty comfortably. You know, I've seen a lot of our tests come in at 4 milliseconds on fiber.
Right.
You know what I mean? So sub that, the gamers are really going to matter. I don't know.
Content creators, that's such a big thing in today's world.
Oh, yeah.
content creators who are live streaming and posting a lot of content. And stuff
if you've ever seen your live streamer, freeze or pause or anything like that, or, I've watched some live content or whatever, and they're like, hold on, I got to reboot my internet connection or whatever. You never know what kind of internet connection they have, but on fiber, that probably isn't going to happen. You know what I mean? Like you never know what they have, but well,
I remember years back when Ninja was a big streamer. He streamed Fortnite. And I remember him having a whole thing. It went viral, and he talked about getting 10 gig delivered to his house. He paid upwards of dozens of thousands of dollars to have 10 gig delivered to his house, because all of his income, which was a lot at that point, was from streaming to the world. He could not afford for it not to go down. And so he went with fiber. He had fiber brought to his house.
And he probably lived somewhere where they didn't have fiber, and so he paid thousands of dollars for them to trench it all the way to his house. Which is still the case. I mean, you can do that if you really want fiber and you want somebody to get it. And I mean, the providers will bring it to you. You're just not going to like the bill. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it has so much money per foot is what it costs to put in the ground. And if they're not close enough to you, they're not going to eat those costs. So they're going to take those costs and they're going to say, hey, you can pay me this amount of money to bring it up to my house.
And so, I mean, ultimately, the biggest thing about having a gigabit fiber connection is that it's not about, the speed or how much, whatever, but it's about never noticing issues with your internet, because that's what we all want. We want to have internet and never think about the internet or never worry about the internet. We just want it to work. It's just supposed to be something that's there.
Seamless is what the goal is.
We have another segment here, but we're running out of time. It's about how we build fiber. I think we'll touch on it on the next episode. It was a pretty cool process. I was very involved with the build. So we'll move on to our FAQs, get a few of those in before the end of the episode. First one is, does fiber internet work if my power goes out at the home? No, it doesn't. Not unless you have a backup generator.
It doesn't. Does fiber internet work? It doesn't work if you don't have a small UPS. But if you have a battery backup UPS, you know what I mean?
It's like 1 in 1,000 people.
Most people don't have it. It was very common back in the day, but more people don't have them now because they're kind of bulky and large.
Well, everything lives in the cloud.
I know everything.
Back then, you lose power, you might lose all of your stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your data. Well, and technology was very temperamental. And so if your router or computer lost power, it would lock up and freak out on you. And so it's not as common, but you can get it, and then fiber will never go down.
So if power goes out, yes, your internet's not going to work. All of our sites, if we lose power, we've got battery backup, and then we've got crews ready to go to bring out a backup generator.
So if you put a UPS on any of our equipment, at your house, it won't go down.
Okay, next, is fiber really worth upgrading to if I already have decent cable? I would say it depends. Definitely. I mean, one thing to consider is the home value, getting fiber to your home, the resellability of your home to consider, and then it just depends on what you need.
Well, and I would also say if it's one of those deals to where you're getting a better value, which fiber probably can provide her. I had one of my buddies or whatever, he was talking about getting fiber to his home, and I'm like, did you go with it? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, you should talk to him at least. They probably would have offered you the same speed for half the price of what you're paying now.
And the other thing it's not true with all of them, but especially for us and especially with a couple other fiber providers is like your cable company probably wrapped you into a TV deal, probably wrapped you into a phone deal, probably wrapped you into some whole home coverage or something like that. And you're paying way more than just the internet. And you come to a provider like us, we just provide internet. And we provide affordable internet. We don't wrap you into these big bundles, these big packages. Nowadays with YouTube TV, your phone is in your pocket. Like, you don't need all that stuff. So I would say look into it, but more than likely the fiber provider, especially if it's us, is going to offer you a more competitive offer than your cable provider.
For sure.
Is fiber made of actual glass? Yes. Literal pieces of glass. I know it looks orange, but that is a plastic coating on the outside of the glass. And they make this by melting molten glass and pouring it down into this little thin strand and pulling it out. So yes, it's made of literal glass. Let's see. Another question is, can a single shovel cut off my whole street's internet? Yes, that is why we are on Arizona 811. Call before you dig. I check for tickets daily. For people, anytime you have to dig in the state of Arizona, if you want to dig, even if it's on your own property, you're supposed to call 811.
Yes.
And we will send out locators that will paint the ground or put flags in the ground and show you where our stuff is so that you can't cut through it.
Right.
Obviously, there's going to be cases where people don't follow that.
Yep.
And they're breaking the law and they're digging and they damage someone else and they're fully liable for that.
Yep.
Let's see.
I think we're running out of
that's
time. So, fiber is really the future.
Fiber is the future.
And it's where we're heading and it's what we're putting in the ground. And so that's what TREPIC's trying to do.
Yep. See you for episode 8. We'll get back up on how we put the fiber in the ground. Thanks for watching.
Yep. Like and subscribe.